Hello and welcome to the career simulation of Sam Dickinson. To start, Sam will be playing for the London Knights on the first defensive pairing. Dickinson would play 68 regular season games and would score 56 points. The Knights would finish 9th in the league and miss the playoffs. In the draft lottery, the Sharks and Ducks have the best odds at the first overall pick. After the lottery, the Kraken would jump up 5 spots to 2. Also, Dickinson is projected to go 10th overall to the Golden Knights. Anyway, in the draft, the Sharks would draft Dickinson with the 11th overall pick in the draft. Also, Dickinson is revealed to be a 71 overall. Dickinson would receive his first NHL contract at $793,000 for 3 years. He is now also already up to a 77 overall. He would still be sent down to London, however. In 68 games, Dickinson would score 97 points. The Knights would make the playoffs this year, finishing first in the league. Unfortunately, though, the Knights would be eliminated to the Barrie Colts in 7 games. In 19 playoff games, Dickinson would score 17 points on the playoffs. Also, Dickinson would win the Offensive Defenseman Award for the AHL. Dickinson is up to an 80 overall. However, this season Dickinson would make his team on the second line paired with Ryan Graves. Dickinson would play 82 games and would score 15 points. The Sharks would place 31st in the league and would miss the playoffs. Dickinson is still an 80 but is now down to top 4 potential. Dickinson would score 24 points in 82 games. The Sharks would finish 29th and miss the playoffs. He is now up to an 82, this time back with his elite potential. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 40 points. The Sharks would finish 27th and miss the playoffs. Dickinson would progress up to an 85 over the regular season and would get a 2-year deal from the Sharks at 2 years with $5.4 million. He is also now up to an 89. Dickinson would score 50 points in 82 games this season. San Jose would finish 5th place in the league and make the playoffs. The Sharks would be surprising, going all the way to win the Stanley Cup, beating the Red Wings in 7 games, winning the Sharks their first ever Stanley Cup. Dickinson would play 21 games and would score 14 points on the playoffs. He is still an 89. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 63 points. The Sharks would finish 8th and make the playoffs. In the first round of the playoffs, the Kings would eliminate the Sharks in 6 games. In 6 games, Dickinson would score 6 points. Dickinson would receive a 7-year deal for $9 million. He is now a 90 as well. In 76 games, Dickinson would score 67 points. The Sharks would finish 13th and make the playoffs. In the second round, however, the Sharks would be eliminated in 5 games to the Golden Knights. In 10 games, Dickinson would score 6 points. Dickinson is still a 90. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 65 points. The Sharks would place first in the league and make the playoffs. In the conference finals, the Sharks would be eliminated to the Blues in 7 games. In 16 games, Dickinson would score 14 points. He is still a 90 as he has reached his maximum potential. In 82 games, Dickinson scored 56 points. The Sharks would finish second in the league and make the playoffs. The Canucks would eliminate the Sharks in 7 games in the first round of the playoffs. In 7 games, Dickinson would score 5 points. He is still a 90. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 43 points. A down year for the Sharks, as well as they would finish 20th in the league and miss the playoffs. He is still a 90. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 75 points. The Sharks would cosmic 9th in the league and would make the playoffs. The bounce-back year would unfortunately come to an end, though, as the Sharks would be eliminated to the Caps in 5 games. Once again, still a 90. In 72 games, Dickinson would score 50 points. The Sharks would finish 28th in the league and miss the playoffs. In the last year of his 3rd NHL contract, he is once again still a 90. In 76 games, Dickinson would score 43 points. The Sharks would finish 5th in the league and make the playoffs. In the first round, the Sharks would be eliminated to the Canucks in 6 games. In 6 games, Dickinson would score 4 points. Dickinson would receive a 6-year deal for $9.9 million. Thankfully, he is still a 90. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 61 points. The Sharks would finish 18th in the league and miss the playoffs. Dickinson is still a 90. In 82 games, Dickinson would score 57 points. The Sharks would finish 26th in the league and miss the playoffs. Not surprised, as Dickinson is still a 90 overall. In 82 games Dickinson would score 49 points. The Sharks would finish 27th in the league and miss the playoffs. Dickinson would sadly finally regress, as he is now an 87 overall. In 64 games Dickinson would score 32 points. The Sharks would finish 21st in the league and miss the playoffs. He is now an 85. In 82 games Dickinson would score 31 points. The Sharks would finish 28th in the league and miss the playoffs. In what could be his final year as a Shark or even in the NHL, Dickinson is now down to an 83. In 78 games Dickinson would score 36 points. The Sharks would finish 4th in the league and make the playoffs. In the first round of the playoffs the Coyotes would eliminate the Sharks in 7 games. In those 7 games Dickinson would score 3 points. At the age of 37 Dickinson would retire from the NHL in 2043. He would have his number retired by the Sharks as well. In games played in Sharks history, Sam Dickinson would play 1,432 games and would place second in between Patrick Marleau and made-up prospect named Bronco Barros. In goals for Sharks history, Dickinson would score 231 goals, placing him 10th in between Joe Thornton and Patrick Pustola. In assists in all-time Sharks history, Dickinson would put up 626 assists, placing him 4th in Sharks history in between Cole Yzerman and Bronco Barros. In all-time Sharks points, Dickinson put up 857 points, placing him 7th in between Joe Pavelski and Will Smith. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.